Okay. Good.
Okay, hi, I'm Jennifer Zunikoff, and this is our interview with,
My name is Israel Gruzin.
and we're interviewing Mr. Gruzin about his experience during the wartime, during the Holocaust. This is our third interview, but it's actually part 2. So you could say the others were 1A and 1B about life before the war. Today is interview 2, even though it's our third time, about life during the war. And-
I'm very happy to talk about it.
Right.
Not happy, it's happy when I talk about it, but it's important
Exactly.
not to forget.
So we just want to say one thing, that Israel Gruzin was interviewed by 4 students back in 2009 by the Goucher Oral Histories of the Holocaust course, which went on for 10 years. And we want to make sure that we have this documented because unfortunately some of his interviews were lost. So we're re-interviewing him, and I was one of the instructors for the course. Jennifer Zunikoff, and Mara, who's not feeling so well, who interviewed Mr. Gruzin last time, is sitting here staffing the camera.
Today's date.
I was interviewed about a month ago to the school, the girls' school, Beis Yaakov.
Oh, Beis Yaakov.
There was maybe 500 girls asked me questions and all
That's
this,
wonderful.
but didn't make any movies.
Right. You weren't a movie star there. With us, you're a movie star.
Yeah.
So it's April 12th, 2015. And because we already interviewed him about life before the war, leading up to the war, we're going to get right into some questions relating to the war. Are you ready, Mr.
Yes,
Gruzin?
I'm ready.
Thank you. Okay, so first I wanted to ask you, what are your first memories of hearing about the war or the war coming?
My father was, of course, older and he was in the paper. We found out in 1939 when the Germans attacked Poland and they occupied Poland. Then we heard the stories what was going on in Poland with the ghettos and what was going, the pogroms. And we realized in Lithuania that we are not too far away, and this time we were occupied from the Russians. The Russians came to us in 1940.
You said the Russians?
The Russians occupied Lithuania and the Germans occupied Poland, close to beginning of 1940. Then we found out what the Germans are doing to the Jewish people in Poland. Then we were alert a little bit, and then when the war started, in 1941, of course the bombs started falling on this, they were attacking the Russian army. Then my father had a horse and wagon, then we realized we have to go. Where are we going? My father was born in Latvia. It's because of this. He said we're going to Latvia. From Latvia we go to Russia. We put everything that we can in the wagon. And my father was a little religious. He put the talis and the tefillin, you know. We put whatever we can take, and we took me, and my brother, and my mother, and my father with a horse. We had a little horse, was like a dog. And we was driving to run away from Lithuania. And right away when as soon as the war started, the Lithuanian people, most of them were not so nice to the Jewish people. They were waiting to make pogroms. They already started pogroms and we were running away, but luckily we came to Latvia. My father spoke the language fluent. But my father was smart enough, he made himself like he would be a farmer. He took dirt and made the horse. It was a little horse, but beautiful. He made him dirty, like he made a wagon. He thought that we are not Jewish people, you know. And then all of a sudden, when the Germans was attacking, and right away the partisans, they called them, they rised against the Jews, of course, and the pogroms. So we had to go over the Dwine. There was a bridge to go over, and the Russians were running away from the Germans. Luckily, we didn't make it on the bridge. We were not too far away. All of a sudden, the bridge exploded with all the people, with the tanks, with the Jews.
What exploded?
The whole bridge. The Russians did
The
it.
bridge.
Bridge,
Okay.
okay.
Because they were afraid the Germans are coming, and they want to go. How much they can go over on the other side, and the rest of them they exploded the bridge. Some of the Russians remained to the other side. Then we are alone, and we start going. And luckily, my father spoke the language. Asked somebody, a woman, and she said to the Jews. My father said, yes, you don't ask any questions. But if you want to go, I said, we don't know where to go. Go back, we didn't know. She said there was a Jewish man living but around 20 kilometers, go straight with the highways over there. We had to avoid this German army was coming. And this time we didn't see the Germans yet. The Russians were fighting with them, we were going in front of it. And then we came to this place. It was a Jewish man. It was had a big farm. And in this farm, it was cows and pigs and all this. We got 2 sons, and of course they were this time maybe 25 years old, or maybe a little more. To me, were this already grown-up people. When we stayed, he said you can stay there for a couple of days. And then, of course, he came. He said, "That the pogroms around this, and you have to hide." He had a lot of Christian people that were going to take him in hiding. And then we were alone. Then we have to go back. You know, we have to go back. Where are we going to back? We're going back to Lithuania. We start going back on the highways. The Germans are already there. You know, the tanks and the airplanes are there above. When it was in the night time, when we can give you the highways, but the most important, the Germans have the right of way. You know, we were going opposite away from the highways, farther away, maybe extra kilometer, 3, 4, 5 kilometers to go to one point. So you have to make 1 kilometer on the highway. You have to go around. My father made a horse, like with the farmers, and all of a sudden we saw with bicycles. And I don't know if I told you stories. With maybe 10 or 15 partisans, the Latvian, you know. When they come to our wagon, and they said to my father, "Hey, Jurgis, you spoke the language, you know." He said, "I know you." He said, "You know me?" He said, "I don't know you, but I know your father. I'm a farmer. He spoke so good the language." And we start saying, "Okay, for this we have to make a l'chaim, we have to drink." And we were stinking from vodka, and the bicycle bloody, like really, the butchers. And he said to my father said to my brother, who was a year older, I said, "Push a little, make the wagon, said, move away the horse to start." And the horse like a human. The horse was starting slowing away. My father drank with him, he came back, he was wet from the vodka. But when they hacked him, when they kissed him, they asked him if it's just juice. My father, it was not juice, we didn't know where. He said, in the wood, maybe 10 kilometers, I saw a lot of wagons, because we saw already killed at the road, wagons with hand and cap and children. They killed like, I was young, but when I think about it, I don't believe it. And then I saw some did and also afraid for the bodies, you know. It was running fast all the time. And then we got rid of these partisans, but we have to go back to Lithuania, you know. And all of a sudden the Germans took up the signs and they made their own signals. And we were going, a woman walked over, an old woman walked over to my father. My father, she walked over, my father said, "Excuse me, would you know how to go to what way should she go to Lithuania?" So, you know, she said, "Are you Jewish?" And my father said, "Of course, yeah." "Oh, please don't say that you're Jewish. They killed the Jews all around the area." Then we had to, my father had the towels and film covered it up. When they said we start going on our own, she said, "Go with the highway, don't go with the highways because you're going to be killed. The army is going there." When we were going there, and my father had to go the back sides, you know, we couldn't go with the highway because the army was going on. It's just so powerful. The tanks and the panzer wagons and the airplanes and above. When it came in the night, and we didn't know, we were driving to a little town, all of a sudden, there were nothing going around, but the Germans were going a little for other street. And up there wind up, and my father speak Russian too. He said, "Tavara, I see your friend." He said, "Don't, it's a curfew. They're going to shoot you, you're not allowed to drive here. Go off the road." We went off the road, and we stayed there a whole night. And the horse was, you know, tired and all this. But we saw everything going for our eyes, the military, and it was unbelievable how strong he was this time, with power and singing. We speak German also. And all of a sudden we got a little lighter, then we start moving back. We moved back, and we start going on the highway, not direct on the main.
Mr. Goucher, can I stop you for a second? So this is so much information, so can we go back just to make sure I'm getting it? Is that okay? So you left your home, and where did you head first? You headed immediately to Latvia. And when you first crossed the border into Latvia, what was the first thing that happened?
Oh, there were pogroms all over.
So you actually saw people being
Yeah, we
killed
saw
and
people, dead people on the street, right and left. So most of the wagons were going like we were going. It was
so
already.
these were all Jewish
Most of them were
refugees.
Jewish.
And they were Latvian Jews, though.
No, Latvian, I don't know they were, but the wagons people were trying to run with the Russian army because we were running with the Russian army to Latvia.
So
And
you
then
were trying to be part of the Russian army, or just
we
behind
didn't
it?
be, no,
Not
we
part, as in not fighting, but
the Russian army was so.
they were helping?
No, they couldn't. They were running with the underpants. The partisans, the Lithuanians and the Latvian, they spun the tires from the cars, from the trucks. They sabotaged them. A lot of
So
people, there are other people to put up the uniforms and they want to be like not the military.
So I'm just, excuse me, I'm so ignorant of all this because I
No,
don't
no.
know. So, okay, so when they get, when you and your family get into Latvia, the Germans are in the midst of attacking the Latvian people, or
No,
just?
they didn't attack. Latvian people come with flowers. All the Christian people were happy.
Okay, so
to
the
see
Latvians are saying, welcome,
Oh
welcome.
yeah, everybody with flowers. The women and the men, they were greeting them. But the Jews was.
Okay, so, but the Germans are not the ones starting the pogroms, it's the
The
Latvians?
Latvians and the Lithuanians did the pogroms, and then of course the Germans.
Because the Germans were there, like to show, look, we kill Jews too.
Yeah, that's right.
Almost like to show off.
Yeah, it was always.
They're doing it anyway.
They were doing it anyway.
So the Germans come in, the Latvians are giving pogroms to their own people, and are the Germans,
Not to their own people,
their own
to
Jew,
the
well, the
Jews.
Jewish people who are Latvians.
Yeah,
So in a way, it's their own
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
but they don't consider them their own people, correct?
correct.
Okay, so and then the Germans are happy that they're doing this. They're
I
collaborating
guess so. I
with
guess
them.
so. We didn't have a chance to. The Germans, because they were happy, they didn't stop.
They didn't stop them.
They luckily didn't notice we are Jewish. Maybe they said, one time we were driving with a Horstenwagen and a truck was going by and they speak German, we understand German. And they were throwing a bag, you know. And my father grabbed it and threw it out from the wagon. All of a sudden this bag exploded. Didn't know if it was Jewish or not. But military, you know, that's fun. It's
So the
killing it.
military was against the Latvians. They were trying
No,
to.
they were just the trunk, maybe the soldiers were trunk, or even the German
Okay.
soldiers were happy they occupied the soldiers, you know. They had fun, throw a hand grenade in the bag and throw it. My father said, maybe they wouldn't throw it back, it wouldn't explode it, but my father grabbed it, you know, it was falling in the wagon, it was soft. But then my father said, no, I don't want to have it here, and he threw it out. And all of a sudden, bingo, this exploded and the horse got scared, ran away, this were running the curfew. It came in the night and we couldn't go.
So everybody had a curfew though. All the Latvians had a curfew,
For
not
the-
just Jews.
No, that's what the curfew was. People should not be on the
Just
street.
anybody.
For everybody.
So you were saying that people didn't know you were Jewish, but only Jewish people had to leave, correct? So
Not
why
leave.
wouldn't they know you were Jewish? That's what.
No, we didn't know because we found out, we know what's going on, the Lithuanian, they hated Jews. My father read the paper. We know a lot about the people when we were running away from Lithuania. We came to this house, to the Jewish man, staying a couple of days there till he said, yeah, I have to leave, I'm going to go in hiding. Then he said, you're on your own, I'm going to hide because he already know what's going on around the area. Then he went in hiding, and we could go to hiding, we don't know nobody. And then we start traveling back, and that's what the whole story with going back.
So you went into Latvia and then you went
Yeah.
out of Latvia?
We were in Dvinsk, you know. I said we can go over. Luckily, we didn't go over the bridge. That's why we lined up to go parallel with the water. We could never came over. On the way back, when we were going back, the Germans already built beton bridge, you know, for the military. Then we have to cross, and then we came to the big city. The big city was already bombed, but that's
What
why
was the big city?
Dvinsk,
Vinsk?
Dvinsk.
Okay.
When we came in Dvinsk, and of course, and then that's what's happening is when we have to stop. A man opened up the window and said, it's a curfew, what are you doing? Well, don't try to recognize you. You know that you are Jews or not. Respect the Rassen. So my father, we understood Rassen. Then we put on the side, and the army was going, and the planes on the top. It was a pachet, it was scary. And then this little horse was holding on, you know.
So everybody was scared, even if they were
We-
Jewish. They were all.
No, I don't know the other one. I know, I'm talking about, I didn't see anybody else. We were completely independent. My father with the wagon, with the horse.
So you were the only people traveling.
We didn't see there was maybe other people, they killed them, and we saw people on the street, wagons turned over, take everything away, bloody children on hand and feet, you know, and here was a small child, and I saw things like this. It was really killing me. He stayed with me all the time. He can get out of my, not a youngster, but when they talk about it, it's really, I don't believe it. I saw it, you know. But I saw it, it's not, but even we came back to Lithuania, when we came back, it was after pogroms, when we were leaving. Our street was no pogroms. And the people were living in the back. It was not our house, my father rented it. We were in the back, in the front was a beautiful house, a big house, 3 or 4 floors. When we have to go through, like in a castle, go in, they opened up a gate, and through the house, you drive through in our backyard, there was a garden, it was not a house, but my father had a business, he was buying the raw skins from the animals, then used to have a place where to dry them and sold them and put it to the people to buy from. There was a Jewish company in Lithuania, in Kaunas, and he used to sell it to them, and he just made a nice living. On this one, when we came back, the horse came back to the house, you know, like a dog, he found the house. My father, around that too, we came to the house, it was dead, we don't see nobody on the street, quiet, everything is closed, the windows. We came by the door, then somebody opened up from the second floor, from the house, and said, Chaim, my father's name, are you outside? He said, it's pogroms, because he saw it all around. They had a level of this other street. Then somebody ran to open up the gate for us to drive us in and close it back up. And then, because we came to our house, there was nothing touched. We found our house, we found some food was left, we found the clothes, it was nothing. And then the same day, a little bit in the morning, we stayed overnight already in the house, and all of a sudden we had loudspeakers. It's occupied already the Germans and the Lithuanians. The whole Jewish people have to concentrate in this area. And what's happened is,
This is back in Lithuania?
back in Lithuania, back to our house. And our house was created the ghetto. We were in the ghetto, our house remained in the ghetto because there was a lot of Jewish people, like, God forbid, like in here, Jewish people lived together, and then we remained in our house a couple of days, and then all of a sudden loudspeakers came out. We said, all the Jews, they have a hand on their food, they have to come and help making the wires. It came trucks full with stacheldrot, the wires, and then it was not electric wires, but the poles, and everybody had a hand. My mother didn't go in, but the going to sneak around and somebody don't go out to walk, they could shoot you. And the Lithuanians right away with their uniforms. And the pogroms was going on before we came, because we came after the pogroms. And then this time, a day before, I want to point out, a day before when we came in, my father wanted to see where my Zayda was, my grandfather or grandmother, when he sit where my mother had a brother in Lithuania, and the president was a beautiful area. My father said to take the wagon. He thought we have to deal with people, or we would drive it over. So the Germans didn't bother. There's the Lithuanians. We start driving out from our house, maybe about 2 blocks. We passed by our house. But the rabbi used to be, we saw a hat in the window. My son said, oh my God. The rabbi said. And he turned around right away and he said, I'm not going nowhere. So we didn't go. We came back to the...
What did you see?
We cut off the rabbi's hat, we put it in the window. Oh. And then we saw the hat, and father said we were not too far away from us. Then we turned back, we came back to our house, and we remained there, and all of a sudden the speakers came back, and it's waking the stacheldrot and all this, and they created a ghetto, and they right away grabbed people intelligent, She said, hey, you sound good, you will have a job, you're going to be a policeman or something. Gave him a little uniform, and it's created the ghetto, but we were not too long in the ghetto. That's why I'm alive.
Wait, please stop for a bit, because I just want to make sure I'm not confused. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, so can we get can you tell me, I know it's hard because it's
No,
emotional, and I
No.
want to get that, but I also want to make sure I understand the dates and things. Is that okay?
The dates, I can't tell you. There was
Or months, or season, or I have
There
no...
was in summertime.
Summertime of what year?
I think it was 1990, it's 47. No,
37.
41. It was
So
beginning.
1941, and the
Yeah.
summer was when you left Lithuania for Latvia.
Yeah,
And when did you come back?
In the same time, about 3 weeks
Just
later.
just 3 weeks later,
Yeah,
okay.
I came back. It was summertime.
Okay, and then when you came back,
Well,
right
after-
away, you were trying to get out of it? Like when you were
No,
going
we
to the
couldn't go.
rabbis?
Right away, we came to the ghetto. Was not even with loudspeakers. All the Jews have to concentrate from the whole area, come in this
So
area.
they were already setting up the ghetto as you were coming back?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
no. This moment, this day, not. When we came back, it was nothing. Then all of a sudden,
Within a few weeks?
I learned how weeks. 2 days later, there's speakers coming out. And what's happening is then they bring in the stacheldrot and start making the backstein in there. And all the people from all surrounding, like, God forbid, like Towson and Dantan, Glenburn and all the people have to come in bikes. So I give you an example, And they made around the whole area, maybe a couple of kilometers. There was a hospital in the area, and then there was a highway, and then there was not enough room to bring in the people. Then they made, at the highway they couldn't close it up. Then they made a bridge, And they made a small ghetto and a big ghetto.
Okay.
And that's what the smaller ghetto, and then I tell you what the small ghetto.
And what was the name of the ghetto?
Kovno ghetto, Lithuania.
Oh, that was Kovno Ghetto, okay. Both were considered Kovno?
What?
Both sides were Kovno?
Yeah, no, this was out because of Slabodki, they call it Lithuanian Vilnius. But this was, they have a higher street go through, and there were schools, and there was a couple of hospitals in here, and there was in here plenty of stuff too. But they didn't want it, there was not enough room for the people. Then what they did, they put in the people, they made a wire this way, then both sides, they made a bridge to go over. And the goyim,
So you could go in between?
yeah, we could go over, with the guy went on the bridge, when we were going over the bridge, one time I crossed over the bridge. I saw Lithuanian people and Germans make movies, pictures, when they moved there. And there was a klein ghetto and a big ghetto. And there's a klein ghetto, they had to liquidate, you know, what's happening. It was for our time, it was a gross action, they call us. People, they with loudspeakers, this was already wired in. When it was in our house, we were 4 people, they put in a family maybe from 4 more or 6. They pushed it in. My mother was grateful to help him out because we were lucky we were still in our house. It's impacting people all of a sudden. They had enough people, they started making selections and taking out people. But certainly the lucky part what it was for us, we were not too long in the ghetto. We were in the ghetto and people was in our house, was started to be 4 people, was 6 or 7 people, the food was not there. Before, you know, I was there quite a little while in the ghetto. But when the ghetto settled out, they take out a lot of people from our house, made more room, and I was going to work with my brother and father to the airport. There was an airport, and I was in the airplanes and all this, and I have stories from this.
What did you do there? You worked at the airport?
Yeah, there was an airport, not too far away. Go over the bridge. There was,
inside the ghetto?
No. This was out of the ghetto. We had to go to work. Then people get that job. My job was in the beginning to go with my father and brother to the airport and clean over the streets and wash the airplanes, little ones. And it was not a big airport, but it's not a commercial.
You cleaned the airport?
Yeah, I think with our job, I think I brought boom with that. This was cleaning the air, not big, it was military, most of them.
How did they watch you to make sure you didn't escape?
Oh, there was always people with the Lithuanians, partisans with rifles, and the Germans, they were not free. But this way, you don't do it right, you get a bank from the Lithuanian or from the German, but this was in the beginning. But we were not, we went through this big action where we took out the older people and the young children and they took it away. But I was still in the ghetto this time.
How old were you in 1941?
I was 14 years, 15 years old, not even less.
What year were you born again?
I was born in 1928, ended 28,
So
so
you were
29.
13 to 15.
I was around 13 years old. I didn't have a mitzvah, I know that. The war already was.
You were already bar mitzvah?
No, I
I've
didn't.
never had it.
And I never had a bar mitzvah. Yeah, I could have it in shul, but I didn't. Too much. I could, but I didn't want it. Anyway, then we were walking on the airport, and then we were walking back and forth. When in the ghetto itself, a few things I have to tell. There came in a family from France, and they came in this house in the front. They put in people. When there was a boy my age, he was very smart, very intelligent guy. He didn't speak good Jewish. And Yiddish, you know, he speaks a little bit German. Was French, I didn't speak French. There, all of a sudden, where we were living, it was a big opening there. There was my father had a house, and there were a few places like a warehouse, you know, for stuff. The fathers are putting in, they cleaned everything out. They start bringing in wood for the ghetto, you know, on the wood and all kind. On the boxes from the military, the boxes with a lot of boxes for them with metal and screws and stuff was always handy. Before I will tell you what's happened to me with being handy. When this French boy said to me, I have a trick to make. And this time he got to work. He said, let's take a screw, a bulb, put a screw from this side, take another one, put in matches, power, from the matches, when you make a match. You scrape up the match, you know, before you make it. When we fill up the powder, a match, yeah. We filled up with the match and the powder from the match.
Well, I don't know the word mess.
A match.
A match.
Okay, I'm sorry. I
Okay,
just don't
a
understand. I'm
swivel,
sorry.
you know. Okay, when we filled it up, when I put a string, and we said, you move it around and bang, you know. We were not away from our house is in the back maybe, but 20 foot was already the wire. Und dann war die Street, you see the other war the main street, and then on the other street was a smaller ghetto. And then we made a bridge a little 3 blocks or 4 blocks away. When I was, there was a, for garbage, we had a big builders, a box, not like you have a garbage can. So the garbage can came up here, a pair of people, they came out and cleaned it out. When I took this string, put it on like this, tightened up the screw and here, inside put the powder from the mats, put it in the rope in here. When I swinged it and swinged it and swinged it, and all of a sudden I banked it in the cylinder, boom! It exploded. And in 2 seconds, maybe, all of a sudden the wire was not too far away from it. The wire opened up the collar, they could go in. And he came in a whole army, Lithuanians and Germans. Wer hat geschossen, you know, who shoot, you know. And he made everybody go out from the house, my father, my brother, everybody. This time it was a Saturday or something, we didn't go to work. Not because it's religious, this day we didn't work. And he said to put out with machine guns, with rifles, who shot? And this French boy didn't speak so good German, or I spoke German, and Yiddish, of course. My German was not so good like and I improved, of course, being in Germany. Then I raised up my hand and said, I did it. The German said, I did it. Where is the gun? I said, we don't have a gun. He said, how do you do it? When I tried to explain to him, then he realized this. And what's happening is when he shoot, he fly a piece of screw over the wires and hit somebody in the helmet, you know. It would kill him. He thought it's a gun. He was, and that's why a whole army came in. And then I said, I did it. And I said, how do you do it? Where's the gun, the rifle? He said, no gun. And he said to everybody, I told him, I started to explain, I spoke German a little bit. He said, somewhere I did it. This time my German is much better. But I tried in Jewish, and I said, he said, zeig mir ein bit. And I answered, zeigen is, show it to me. You know, and I showed it to him. He said, when I tried to bang it and this don't work, dus achter, hij slacht het derde woord gezegd. He took that, this wire in here and here, and I had a satisfaction that way. When he said, he took that stone, when he was going to bang like this.
Who's going to do this?
The German, from the SS. He banged and all of a sudden he exploded, he cut him off the hand. He fly away and he got so embarrassed that he told all these soldiers.
His hand came off?
No, he didn't get hurt.
Oh, but it
he was cut it, when he clapped, it just exploded, fly off, he was fall off his hand, I wouldn't be alive. He told all the soldiers go back to do this. He felt a little embarrassed, he was a little higher rank. And that's what they experienced. Then he realized, you know, this is sort of like a plague. But in the same time, one time I was going to work, and sometime I didn't go to work, when I was always handy. This was my way.
And you didn't get punished for this?
No, because you realized he felt bad worse than I did. Because he thought if somebody was with a gun, he took the whole army came. You're going to kill anybody, but it was nothing. Anyway, there was the other side was the smaller ghetto. But one day, I sitting outside, didn't have to go to work. And I always like to make, and I made myself a little airplane. You know, I didn't have to tell the story. Sitting outside, and my mother is in the house, didn't go to work, my father and brother went to work. This time I didn't have to go to work. When I'm sitting, all of a sudden a jeep go by with 3 soldiers from the SS. Was machst denn du? You know what I'm doing? So ich spiele me, you know, I'm playing, you know. I spoke German, I started Jewish, who teach you to make an airplane? I said, I like it. I see the airplanes flying sometimes. I like airplanes. I tried to make it in wood, you know, that plane. He said, come on. He took me and said, can you say to my mother, my mother was in the house, start laughing, yeah, we'll let her know this, we'll take him. He took me out from the ghetto in a school, it was a Jewish school, it was the Gymnasium, in a basement, and I thought they were going to kill me. And they brought me in tools, and said, from now on, you will stay here, but you're going to make airplanes. I said, but airplanes, they bring me two tools where I never had in my hand. I was with a knife doing really soft wood and all this, and I made one model, another model. They took from everybody, you know. Maybe about around 3-4 days I was there. When it was light in the basement, there was a school. A was a Jewish school, they made the headquarters there. And all the Germans jumping around and drinking, and the prostitutes, I could hear it, you know, but I was afraid of my life, and I didn't know. All of a sudden he came, Mr. Fertig? I said, soll ich noch weitermachen? He said, make more? I said, no, that's enough. Okay, come, I thought they were going to kill me. I didn't know. He put me in the same pajama and picked me up. took me up to the ghetto, to the gates. There was Jewish police, Lithuanian police, and Germans, you know. And they let me by the gates, obviously, not allowed to go. You're always with a rifle, somebody watch you. And they let me by the door, by the exit, to go in the ghetto. And the Jewish police said, where you come from, you know, like this. I said, I was making airplanes. They were laughing. He said, you make airplanes. It's been crazy. I said, no, I was, one of the Germans understood it, maybe he knew the telephone there, the walkie-talkies. You know, then they let me in the ghetto and I ran into the house. My mother almost passed out. Said, I'm dead. Didn't know what's happened to us. And then we were in the ghetto, there's two experiences what I had in the ghetto. And then, all of a sudden, they came to our house and they said, you, the Gruzin family, you are not staying in the ghetto, you're going to be liquidated in a castle. Because there was a beautiful place, you know, a schloss, you know, a big schloss. And we didn't know
What?
a castle, you know, a castle. There was from the president, for the first president, it was maybe about 150 years old, this building, an old building. And there was the president, Vital says the dishes. He was the beginner for creating the Lithuanians a long time ago.
Oh, a president had lived there.
Yeah, he was a president.
Hundreds of years before.
Yeah, before we had a Smetona, was the last president. He was not bad for the Jews. He was died he was in the United States. He ran away from the Russians and came here. To make the story short, then they said we will get it liquidated. And where are we going? We're going to this castle. Me, my father and brother, and a few other people. And at the same time, the ghettos was taking out the small children, was always taken out from the ghetto and killed. He was a small child, smuggled in. This time they were hiding him. And the Maidan man, he was in charge. He's supposed to be called a capo. A capo is a human being. When the Germans were going, he said, you shouted, you're intelligent enough, you will be a leader. When I told it, you must bank over the head, you have to do it. And this man, Reichel was his name, he said, he came in, he took us in, and there was a synagogue, they made it like a jail for the ghetto. We were there, me, my father, my brother, and another family, and two other families with a little one, the other were 5 years old. 5 years old wouldn't
All in
exist.
this castle?
No, in this ghetto still. And then we have to go by
Before
foot.
the castle.
Before the castle, then we have to walk in by foot. But a small child was not allowed. They were killing him. He was hiding in the ghetto. This man, the Reichel, the capo, he didn't mind. He said, when we walked in by foot, maybe about 10 kilometers by foot to this castle, but not too far away from the ghetto. And there was a base for the Russians. There used to be the army. We took over the barracks. There were houses, not so nice, straw mattresses and all this, but we took it over. And the Reichel was in charge. There were kitchen there. We started, we used to go walk for this castle. Luckily, I was always handy, good in woodwork. And my father and brother, and my mother stayed most with them, my mother had to work too. And this was started the story over there. There was a lot of Ukrainians, but they were volunteering with these Germans, to work for the Germans. They were learning to be Hitler-Jugend. There was one Ukraine, when he was, and I was walking outside one time, and I saw he's taking, my mother, he was taking out to cut trees, with a woman, cutting trees. And he went around, he beat up my mother because she was not pulling the saw. I was going to run to do something, but other Jewish guy said, you're going to shoot you, you got a gun. And I had a bet high on him. And all of a sudden in this castle, I was always handy. I always doing bandfear came to me.
What happened to the boy?
The boy was, I told you the boy too, if he was still in the castle, I told you what's happened to him. He was still running around.
So he got into the castle? They let him
No,
go.
not in the barracks, not in the castle. He was not working, he was in the barracks. He was a barracks. There was houses, and it was wires around. And we were standing.
Are we talking about when you're still in the ghetto or when you're on your way to the
out
castle?
of the ghetto, we're out of the ghetto, in the castle now.
You're on your way to the castle or
Yeah,
you're
we
in
were
the castle?
in the castle.
Okay.
And from over there we started going to walk. And I was always handy. And one of these Germans, he walked over to me and he saw me outside. I was walking with my father. I said, "Sprecht ihr Deutsch?" Ein bisschen, yeah, a little bit, you know. You walk with me, you know, walk with him. I go in the schloss, a big schloss, second, third floor. I said, I'm a sculptor, and I'm going to make a face for Hitler, and you're going to help me. I said, I don't know, I'm not a sculptor, you know. I said, no, you're going to mix the clay, you know. You just want to give him the hand. And he was nice to me. I always told him Bandführer. Big, I was talking to Hitler, I was talking, talking to him, and he was raising up the hand, and I said, what is he crazy? He talked on the telephone. Nobody's there except me and him. And he's raising up the hand and talking. At least I hear Hitler talking on the telephone, close by. I hear the voice, you can hear a voice. That person is talking telephone. He was talking with him, you know, whatever. But I have to do my music later, but one day, this one was still one said, Kleiner, he was my little one, said, go and bring me a bottle. He this Ukraine was beat up my mother. They had duty, they were learning to be a soldier, and they were also doing some work. A couple of days they were working for the military, learning to be a soldier, and one they used to do work. He used to bring, because we didn't have any water there, you have to take from the wells. And there was a kitchen with full prostitutes, and the Germans, all they were good time, with little Heinz, and Poles, and I think from all over Europe, you know. It was a lot of different levels that were talking there. And from Italy was a lot of them. When I was going up, the Oberste und Bandführer said to me, nimm noch mal die Flasche and bring me some to drink. Take the flask in a bottle, and go over to the back of the come with a drum.
This is the man who's talking on the phone to Hitler, who's making his
He told me to bring him water, and I took the bottle, and I go in. I didn't know he was me, you know, because he was not. I was concentrating also with the Oberste here. Then he said to me, I should bring him the bottle, and I go down. The horse is disconnected from the wagon, and I didn't know this Ukraine was beat up my mother is in the duty. You know, I didn't know.
But there's another man beating up your mother while you're
No,
water?
This is the mother was before. Okay. This is happened. I had a bed high in this Ukraine. I remember him. You know.
Oh, you just remember him.
I didn't know he had duty to this time to go with the barrel to bring water for the kitchen. They had a hose, put it in, and they would drop me the water over there. I go over. I take the bottle. I bend down and I wash the bottle out. I didn't know he was watching me. I didn't know. You know, he saved my life. When I go down...
This is the painter, the artist who's
the
watching
artist, yeah, the Oberste und Bandführer, Dr. Hitler.
Bandführer?
Big Oberste und Bandführer, one of the biggest one.
Oh.
The highest rank, you can go higher.
It's a rank.
Like a general, you know. Like,
okay.
But he was a sculptor, he was doing the work. He told me to bring him to drink the water. I went over, I take the bottle, I wash the bottle out, and I closed it, put it aside. And I lay down under the knee, there was a little drop from the nozzle, didn't put my nozzle on. All of a sudden when I lay on the floor, I was low and then low, and I push, and I feel the nozzle going right in my throat, it got me. And all of a sudden, this front tooth, something got loose, started bleeding. And I looked around, and I saw this Ukraine, he beat up my mother, and I had a hide, and it was a basement, the kitchen, in the basement. There was a big window, you can go. When he start the stick what he make for the horse to go fast, the bites he calls it. When he start beating me once on the hands over my, when I got, I had so much pain. I thought I'd die. And this one, when he gets in a moment, and I remember he beat up my mother, when he was, the rope cut me around his neck, and I pulled up the rope and I pulled him to me, and I pushed him with my foot, and he fall in the basement. Fall in the basement, the prostitute, the girls ran out, and one of these Germans were not so high like the sculptor. He ran out. Weißt du was gemacht? You know what he did? He just beat up a future German, you know, and he put me to go on the side, took the rifle, loaded on, and he shoot me there. All of a sudden, the Oberste und Bandführer, he watched me when I was going to the water. He didn't trust nobody. Then he said, halt, mach noch nichts, and in the window, and he ran down the steps. And he said, warum ist der Messi? Why come you want to kill him? He said, he was drinking. I said, oh, wait a second. I said, he was very neat. I gave him the bottle to fill up with water. And he did a good job. He didn't drink from the bottle. He was laying down to have a drop. I said, it's not his fault. And this crying, go out there, the cell. The prostitute, they were running all of me, the Italian and Lithuanians, and all of girls, nice girls, but they were nobody. They were with the soldiers. The soldiers were drunk over there. This was one time, this was a German, saved my life. But I have stories in the concentration camp, what a German did to me, saved my life. That's what happened this way, and then all of a sudden, I went through a lot of other stories over there. It was a long time, but one thing I have to tell you, the little one was running around in this camp. I got to 5, 6 years old. In the ghetto was a selection, and they were taking, again, they took out, make sure all the small children are going, everybody, but not small children. They came in, a group, and this Reichel, the one who was the capo, he said in the ghetto, you know, but a day before I have to go with my father, me and my father on a wagon was a little hind, to go to the ghetto to bring some food for the little camp that we were. The ghetto used to have supplied. When we came by the gate, the Jewish police said, don't go in the ghetto, it's a kinderarzt, so they take out the children. We didn't know. And I was not, I was old enough, but it was taking out my age maybe too. We didn't want to go in when this man made sure the capo, made sure the Lithuanian, he was talking to them, he said, bring the food to the gate and we put it on the wagon. And I didn't go in the ghetto. I said, got to go to the ghetto. The reason why he sent me, because I was a dentist. My tooth was hurting, maybe from the whatever. He didn't go to the ghetto. This was a lifesaver for me. But they took all the children. Again, I selected looking for children. They came a couple of days later. The capo told us, Mr. Reichel said, there's a small child. And we were in the same barrack. There's a store, but that was us, me and my father and brother and mother, and the other two, you got a boy in my age, and the one and the little one. And the father and mother was sleeping, it was beds like military. But who cares, you know, women, men, but people, women have tried not to be together because it's a little respect, but I told her to go out. To make the story short, all of a sudden a jeep came in looking for small children. And this mother, the Reichel said, you have to hide him, you know. To hide him, he said, you put him on, picked up the mattress, put him onto the mattress, and he was laying there, told him he should be quiet. All of a sudden, 2 Germans walking in beautiful uniforms, and walked at me, looked like a dog, you know, to the muscles, du bist da gut zu arbeiten, you're good for work, you know. My brother, let him rest in peace, other 2 boys, his brother, and then also said, sind die kleine Kinder da, you know. In German, there are small children. And the little one opened up the blanket and said, nein, keine Kinder da, alle Kinder schlafen, no children here, all the children are sleeping. And the German was such a Nazi. He just, when the way the boys, I have always still smiles, the way he said it, you know, in German, to the German. He said, geh doch noch schlafen, we go to sleep. And we thought he saved us, and he walked out. A day later, a jeep came, and said, where's the Junge? Other soldiers, you know, very little boy. The little boy was running around. They saw him, they grabbed him, and the mother ran to want to take away. They took this little boy, and I swear to you, he was in this little camp, but not a big place, a half a block. It was not a big camp, you know, it was about 120 people altogether, with the children, with the boys. They were walking there. It was like from the soldiers from the Russian left over. They grabbed this boy, and it was like an open little truck. And they started to bring him there, and they saw him. I heard a scream. And it was quiet. I think they killed him before they put him around. We see things like this. And the mother, take me, take me. It didn't help nothing. And the war took away this little boy, dead, I'm sure. And that's what the one experience that I had in this castle over there. And then, of course, in the ghetto, I had experience when I told you this. There's no limit. There's no hell. But I was, in a way, lucky. I was so lucky that this really, God was with me. We used to go to work, and I worked for the company Moll in Germany. Then we were deported from the ghetto. We had to go walking on to these trains. And it for me, my father, my mother, my brother, and other, my uncle, and so on, and my cousins. We met over there, and we went in to the trains from the cars, you know. They were smelling and all this. And then all of a sudden,
Were you saying after you left the castle, you were taking out the trains?
No, after we left the castle, we have to go back to the ghetto. We were going back to the ghetto. We know there was a 9-4, they were killing a lot of people. When we were going there, if we were going straight, if we go straight, we would go up to be killed. But to make a right turn, they were going into the ghetto. They moved the gates. Then all of a sudden, said, oh, so thank God we're going to the ghetto. We came in the ghetto, they put together because we were not there, we were laying outside. But all of a sudden, loudspeakers, everybody have to go to the trains, put it in lines, We were going with my father, my mother, my brother, my uncle, and the other people, maybe a couple, maybe 600-700 people in a line, and the Lithuanians standing, and some of them spitting on us with five fists, taking us for the trains, not too far away from the airport. And they put us in wagons, like I said, in the museum, from the cars, were smelling. Putting my father, my mother, my brother, we were all together, my uncle and my aunt. When the trains started making toot toot, we start moving up and soldiers on the roof, the Lithuanians. Where we go to Germany. We didn't go, we drive one day, another day, and enough food, and then we opened up a little water, and the people have to go, and the ladies, the women, which is embarrassment with a little pat to make. When somebody would put out the urine or something, the Germans, the Lithuanians, they knock you on the head, you're afraid to do anything. And the smell was terrible, it was hot. In this time of the year, a little more summertime. To make the story, they came in all of a sudden, the train stopped. They stopped a couple times because they have to go to the army was going. Stopped, they saw a place, Stutov, Lager Stutov, a camp. We don't know where the Lager sits. We thought, said, alle aussteigen. Everyone has to go out for the trains. And all of a sudden we saw people with the uniforms, some people, Jewish people, something, and they said, Frauen besunder and Männer besunder. My wife still take it, she was here. Frauen besunder and Männer besunder. This means my mother went on one side, and I went with my father and brother. And they took the Frauen away.
Is this camp in Germany?
In Germany.
Stutov?
Stutov, yeah. On the camp, when there was people with the athletic uniforms, they said, this is a camp, it's a walking camp, don't worry, it's not a killer, it's not a crematorium, we didn't know nothing, but we didn't go to the camp. He said, alle Männer einsteigen, now all of a sudden my man. I was taking my father and brother, my uncle, and we put us in the train, and since then I didn't know what was happened to my mother. And my aunt was there
too. So they put you back onto the train?
We have to go back
to
the
the
train.
women had to stay there, but the men got back on?
They stayed, we were going deep to Germany.
Did all the men have to get back on the train?
All the men.
So the women all stayed and the men all got back on?
Yeah, the women stayed in Stutov, and we were going to this. We came in.
What around? I know you don't know exactly, but around when was that?
It was warm outside. It was maybe the time from April, June, May, July, June.
So was this already 1942? This was a whole year later after.
Later, yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure. So,
Yeah.
so when you left the ghetto, you never went back to the ghetto, right?
No, I never went.
And you were only in the Kovno
And the
ghetto, and that was the larger side. You were on the larger side.
Yeah, I was on the other side, but I saw a lot of things that was going in the ghetto before I was going to the castle. In the Brendan Hospital with the Lebendig, I maybe mentioned this before.
So
I will tell you.
You were the ghetto for a while, then you went to the castle, then you
Most of
went
the
back to the
time,
ghetto.
more time I spent until the Germans in the castle or in the ghetto.
So you were in the castle longer. How long
Yeah.
were you there?
And
In the winter?
Oh, you winter or winter.
Okay.
And then we went to the Deportation.
And do you know why they brought you to the castle and back into the ghetto?
No, they brought us to the castle. From the castle we go back to the ghetto. From
Right.
the ghetto they transport
To the
all
train.
the Jews to the trains.
But why did they bring you to the castle to begin with? Do you know?
Oh, because they have to walk. They have to walk. It's
Oh,
just,
okay. But you
it's
lived there in the castle.
We were living there, and I said, not a living.
Well, I know, but I mean you were
okay.
sleeping
We were
there as
sleeping
opposed
there.
to the ghetto.
Yeah, that's what happened with the little boy.
Right.
This little
And
kid.
then they only brought you to the ghetto just to get on the train,
You
not
get
to
on the
stay
train.
in
Yeah,
the
we
ghetto.
didn't have to go because we never home. We found out, put the people in one line and said, you're going to the trains, and that you have to walk over. That's why the people so faced. We go to the trains. They took us to Germany. So they stopped on the way to Stutov to take out the woman. We were going to Landsberg. Landsberg, where Hitler was arrested, was the jail. This was a very popular area. And over there was a company called Moll for the Messerschmitt, for the airplanes. They built a bunker.
Messerschmitt?
Messerschmitt for the airplanes. When we came there, and there was nothing there, we walked by foot from the trains, and there was nest in it was raining so a little bit. We came in, there was barracks like this, and made out for paper, really cardboard. And there was a hole, and this was when we came in, then it was all around with wires, and then they improved this. And there was a enclosing, take a bath. We know we're here there in the ghettos, what's happened with the crematoriums, but they said, this, you're going to take a bath, and going to bed. And then there was a big edge, a toilet for our side, a long one, a long toilet. People have to go.
Toilet.
A toilet, yeah.
Like one after the other?
No, wood.
Holes.
I would say like a railing, for wood. Und he said, aber das was full with from before, people were there before. And a German walked out and said, I have a special work, because a lot of people from the ghetto, they still have some diamonds. You know, the ghetto was, we didn't have nothing because we were just a small place in the castle there. But people in the ghetto, they have some pictures still. It was, or whatever. And a lot of people said they came over there. He said to give it to the Germans, put a table, said everything what you possess, gold, silver, a ring or something, a picture, you have to put it on the table. A lot of people said, I'm going to leave it for the Germans. They put it in the toilet. You know, somehow they found out, and all of a sudden a German came out, and we had to go to Klausen. So this is the Klausen, we're going to take a bath.
Where was Klausen?
At Klausen. To
Clothing.
Yeah, shower, to take a shower. We didn't know, but we saw the windows. There's not a crematorium, we know windows. We realized, you know, we were not so dumb. My father was not a dumb person. The people, you know, what the FCCL closed up everything. You go in a chamber, you know you're not going to go out. But there was windows. And Germany came out and said, who is doctors, who is lawyers, who is religious people that have for them special work? And there was maybe about 2,000 people, maybe more. They raised up the hand. Oh, excuse me. That's me.
Yeah, why don't we just stop for a second, Alan?
Sure.
That's this guy. He was almost a month. He said to me, weißt du, wer ich bin? You know, I was a leader in Auschwitz. I worked for him.
He was a leader?
Yeah, he was a he was, I said, I was smart enough, I didn't wait for the crematorium, she's telling me. I worked for him. I have to tell, this will come later on. This wasn't it.
Okay.
Who are you talking about?
I have a German, other German,
Uh-huh.
in the camp, this was in Germany, you know.
Someone helped you?
He told me I was making the fire for him, for the soldiers. I was always handy. They chose me over there in Germany.
Wait, why don't we get back to where we...
Yeah, let's go back for a while.
where we were.
Yeah, don't worry.
Okay, and have you started yet?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so where did we leave off?
You had just gotten to the camp, I think, and you said they had asked who was a doctor, who was a lawyer.
And tell us the
Right.
name of
And a
this camp
rabbi.
again.
Lager Ains, camp number 1.
Lagerings.
Yeah, I have pictures also in the album.
Okay.
And this is also, this is a little further away than Stutthof,
Oh
also
yeah,
in
far-
Germany.
this is deep in Germany, it's Landsberg. There was a big jail there, Hitler was there. He was running my camp. It's a
Right.
very popular place over there. We are not too far away from Landsberg, but 15 kilometers from this area. They are building a bunker. And the bunker for the Messerschmitt. And that's the story. Like Mitzrayim, you know, people fall in the cement. We came 70 years ago, 50 years ago. I was supposed to be getting this time too. When I went with the general from the German after the war, you know.
Wait,
Minister.
Are we still in this one about the, still in the other story, or are we in a different
I
story?
jumped a little.
That's okay, I do get confused sometimes, so I'm sorry about that.
Anyway, there's the people over there who is a doctor, who is a lawyer, you know. When Jewish people thank God there were a lot of doctors, not a lot of lawyers, not a lot of religious people. They raised up their hand. They said, okay, everybody was already dressed, going out after the shower, they said to this group, undress, you know. Everybody, men, all this, undressed completely naked.
Just the doctors and
The
the lawyers?
doctors and the lawyers and the religious people, there was maybe 500 people. And they said, your job is going to be go in the toilet, and indeed, when with the hand you have to take out whatever you saw in. When you go in, there was a lobby, you know, there was people before us there. It was built up in the summertime, it was hot. We start moving this waste from the human. It's really smelling. When people go in, up to here, some of them couldn't breathe, they fall in, they never get out. And when they go out, they were all muddy, you know. Then I don't know what's happened to them because this time I was pushed away and it gave them a place. You, my father and brother, you have to go to the barracks. What's happened to them? Most of them died because in the toilet because they couldn't breathe. They were smelling the whole area. And that's why they're breathing in this camp. And in this camp, they were there walking like you know, like all kind of walk. They were built a bunker. In this bunker was the building for the Messerschmitt, for the airplanes. A plane can fly in and fly out. But they made a mountain, And then on the mountain they put in metal sticks, and then they put with pump stations. Machines came and blow in the cement. They made like a dome, you know, like a hall, like a football hall. And then they came in with machines and digged it out from the inside. It was really an empty space. And I was walking there, and that's what started. And I just walking there. One day my father and brother worked with a meister, foreman. He was nice, friendly. I was doing all the work for him also, for the meister. My father and my brother.
What was the work you were doing?
All kind of work.
Was
you know.
it like an airplane hangar?
No, this was our site. But that's when I walking. Before I was walking, my father walked over there, and German walked by and said, "You speak good German." And I was speaking German. I didn't know to go to him. I know. He said, "Speak German." He come, take my briefcase, take my Aktentasse. He come with me. Took me in. He said, "See the barracks in here? There are 10, 15 barracks, little booths for the soldiers." He said, "Your job is going to be to keep me warm, make fire there, you know."
Make
I said,
fire?
Fire, you had the oven, you know. So this one said, he said, "I thought it's one of them, one place." He said, "Oh no, your job is going to be for all of this area, maybe a half a kilometer, with barracks for soldiers, wasn't the people to walk." He said, "Your job is going to be to make sure that all these houses is little." It was my luck. I was going with a bag. I have no soldiers watching me because I was soldiers all around anyway. You know, the people, the most of the bunker was maybe about around 2 or 3 kilometers away from this area. You know, and this German, you know, he was. He said, "Aktentasse." I said, "You
Is there what?
the briefcases you take and bring it in the house. And from now on, you make sure that I'm warm." And I didn't know him. It was a big shot. One I was being a gorilla, and all of a sudden I was with him, sort like talking to me, and he said to me, "Hast du lice? Läuse, you know?" "No, ich bin sauber, and I'm clean," because he was afraid I have lice. And then
You mean he made sure he told you to take
Yeah.
a bath?
he said I have lice.
He asked if he had lice.
Yeah, so you realized,
Yeah.
okay.
I said I have lice anyway. But him I started getting, especially not in his barrack, there was a lot of barracks. What happened is when I was walking without a bag to get coals and all this, I had a chance to go in this place where they made the bunker, and others go by and keep an eye on my father and brother. We were in the same barracks in the camp, but he was working somewhere else and I was working since then. Then my father got beat up from the foreman, the German, because the German said to my father, "You made your son, he should work for this Nazi, for the Obersturmführer." And I didn't know, and I had a guy, he talked to me, and then I talked to him, and my father came on to the camp, blue. So "What's happened, Papa?" He said, "Oh, you beat me up." He said, "I told you to work for him. I had the guts, the German, you're a Nazi, you're a murderer." And then he said that, and when I told him what he said to me, he said, I told him the story. He said, "There's was heißt das? No, there is the expression. He's telling me what I can do."
So wait, your boss is now angry at the man who
Yeah,
yelled at your
the
father,
big
beat your
Nazi.
butt.
No, not the. He's best. I said, I told him this. The Meister beat up my father, the foreman over there, because he works. I was working for you. He said, "You have to do it. They have the walkie-talkies." He called to me, maybe 5 kilometers where I was working in one place, and he gave him, and he was a big man. And this big man, I have to tell you about him. When he was a real Nazi, really with
This
him.
is your master.
Yeah, I worked for him now. That's why, not only for him, I had to do work for all the soldiers. And I was going around free. Because the soldiers all around the cell, they were walking 5, 6 kilometers. All with machine guns, with wires. You can't run away from this area. Building such a big thing. But I was going around free. They know me already. I didn't have a star this time, I had a number. When I was going, I walked like this. To make the story further, this German get called in, the Meister, and he said, "Warum hast du den Mann geschlagen? Why come you beat up my father? I'm a murderer, you know?" He said, "I told this SS man, the murderer, my father got beat up because I worked for you. That's all what they needed." He put the man was Satan, you know. He took out the gun and against. He said, "You don't go against me." At one time I hear, and he was not too much for the Jews. He was watching for the military, this Nazi. Anyway, that's what it started. The Meister ran away, and there was never this. But this assessment, one day I came in, he asked me if I have lights and no lights, I was making fire. And there are a few things I have to tell about it, for the murder was. First time, with that train, there was a broken train outside. And there was sand. And he said to me, kannst du kochen? If I can cook. I said, I'm not a cook. He said, ich habe Roggensuppe. And I speak a little bit, I wrote a little bit German, and it's still a Roggensuppe. You put out water.
Is it soup?
Soup, yes.
Yeah, translate for me because I
it's
don't
like
know
a
German.
cereal.
Right.
You put it in the water, and you cook it, and that's the military used to have it. Roggensuppe, it tastes very good.
Rogan soup.
Yeah.
It's like noodle soup?
It's not it's a soup, like a chicken soup with little noodles or something.
Uh-huh.
But it was in a can. You have to put it in water. And the water, he said to me, go out, and take my bucket, the can, and clean it out. When I cleaned it out, I went outside and I took sand. It was a little, when I rubbed it, it was like a mirror with aluminum. And then when I bring him with the water, what's that? This is mine? He didn't recognize the bucket. How do you make it? I told him I took sand, I washed it out, I said, okay, spill the water out. He didn't want to have the water, maybe put poison or something. Then I said, I spilled the water out, he had his own water. He had a big bottle of water. Put in the water and he said, mach dan the Suppe for me. He gave me a spoon, I had my spoon and a bucket all the time. When he started cooking, he said, take it off. No, so he started boiling, it was fat. I take it off from him. Where's the bucket, I hanging on a little bucket. He said, he took 2 spoons, he got his own spoon, and I have my spoon, I have it in the movies. I took the 2 buckets, put in two spoons. He's a fress toch, like a dog, tired. He was so sadistic, not trusting nobody.
He thought you had poisoned it.
Then I made a point of it. I took this, I still blew the lips away from this. I took it in my mouth, it was tasty, but I burned my tongue and everything was just from the fire. I said, raus mit dir, du kleiner Hund, the little dog. I think I'm going to fressen and he's going to eat when I'm present there. And I made with him sort like a intense. One day he walked in and I took off a little hat, take over the hat, stay straight. Zet ik maar in, sit down. Het weet je waar ik ben, you know who I am? I said, I came from Auschwitz. I was a big thing over there.
He said
He said this to me, He said, zet ik maar in, I sit down. He took matches, streichels, they call it. Matches, wooden mats. Match,
okay.
He put one, built up a little barricade. He said, I was smart. I didn't use the crematoriums, A man talked like this, a big man, big rank, over Sturmfeuer. Bandführer was the other one, the sculptor. All the soldiers have to salute for him, and he was not over the Jews, he was most of them towards the army, the soldiers. He said, you know what I did? Put the matches. He said, I was smart. I took Leichen as the dead people. I said, 10, 15, 20, I put put a little kerosene, I put a match, and the whole thing burned down in a half hour. There was nothing left. He said, dear Sonny, taking the Leichen, the dead people in the crematorium, walking. He was so proud that he was such a good, I didn't believe he talked to me like this, When I was with him going along, and then, at the same time when I was going around with these scrolls, before I have to tell this, all of a sudden a man who got crazy, from Ungarn, he walked in the broken train, and he spoke, toot, toot, toot.
Who is this?
And a broken train was right by the barracks.
Who was the man that went in it?
From Ungarn, I don't know.
Some crazy guy?
No, he got crazy from the Jewish people.
He was Jewish?
Yeah, a Jewish man. He walked in and walked away from the walking stelle.
Oh, okay.
Walked the train, he's going home to this wife and still there. He spoke German. And then one of them walked in, I was sitting with him in this barrack. He was talking to me something. The soldiers walked in, ich habe einen Verrückten draußen. I got a crazy one in the train. Crazy one. What's happened to him? He said, he's going to Budapest. To his wife and still said, I'm going to help him. There was a big bucket.
This is your boss who says this?
He was all this Nazi,
The big guy.
The big guy, the murderer. He said I should bring in filled up with water for the train. And I saw the man sitting in the train, and he's going to Budapest, It was not too far away, maybe from here up to the door a little farther. And it was so heavy, you know, a big, these two handles, and I couldn't, I was afraid it could shoot me or whatever. And I bring it in the little house, in the little room, put it on the oven, and I start blowing like in a train with fire. And he said, "Mach doch schneller, man, make it faster, faster." I know what I needed water, you know. And he said, all of a sudden the water was boiling. He said, "Nimm doch runter." And I tried to take it off, the handles are hot. Ach, du Arschloch, he said to me, not the next expression. He said, I was looking for a glove first. All of a sudden I opened up the door, he called two soldiers in, they were standing around him, always watching him. He said, "You should take up the water, put it on the floor," and he looks for hands, for gloves, you know. He's a soldier, they have soldiers, even summertime they have something hanging. They gave it to him, and the two soldiers have to bring in the water to the train. And he walked over to us, and I followed them, I didn't know. When he walked over to the train, I said to him, "Ach, mein Junge, hey, you nice boy, you know, how fast do? Where are you going? Where are you driving?" And he said to him in German, "I'm going, ich gehe zu meiner Frau und Kinder, I'm going to my wife and the children." And er, "Fahr doch noch schneller, fahr doch noch schneller. Ich halte dazu, he will help him, you know, to go schneller." And he took up this big bucket, you know. And the man in the train was a little train, with a broken train, he picked it up like an athlete. Put right over his head, he pulled it whatever. And the man is crazy. I never saw him that way, it's completely, his skin came up, nothing. When he was running, you know, he was running and I ran away, and I was in the back, and I thought he maybe need me, and I see what's going on. And one of the soldiers said, "Schieß doch him, kill him." He said, "A bullet is too good for him." That's what he said in German to the other soldiers. And then one of the soldiers said, "Shoot him," because he was already the Bonski, the skin guard, his uniform, everything else. He just. When I saw this, I said, "I will never survive." Then I came in the barrack and I was standing like a little dog. And he walked in like nothing happened, you know. And I walked out from him because I have to make the other fires. At the same time, when I was making the fires, these things, I was not too far away from the bunker we were building. It was maybe about a half a kilometer. One of the Germans, a German walked over, a beautiful looking German, tall, maybe 6'3", blonde, yeah. And he said to me, "Du Kleiner, the little one, du sahst doch wie mein Bruder aus. I look like his brother." Okay? A miracle. I said, you know, he was watching the people, they walking. He was from the Wehrmacht, not from the SS. I thought, "A good German." I said, "I cannot speak German." I said, "I look to your brother is, you blonde and blue eyes, and you're so tall, and I'm black hair," and I was not so, I was a tall boy, I wouldn't survive, I was always the size, I was really tall. It was my luck too. He said, "No, I saw, weißt du," sagte er, "weißt du, jedes Mal, wenn ich Dienst habe, anytime he got duty, he's going to bring me a butterbrot, a sandwich."
A what?
It's a sandwich, a butterbrot. Butterbrot is a sandwich.
What do you mean?
Like a hamburger, a cheeseburger.
Oh, food. He's
Yeah,
gonna bring
food. He's bringing me a butterbrot, it's in German. I said, "It's crazy." And he said, "You see this little tree?" Because they were cleaning up there for the airport to make in this area. It was clean. He said, "There's a little tree, and this one, sometime, not tomorrow, next day I have duty, you come by, I will put it over there." I told my father, when I went in the barracks, I said, "So you have to go, I can shoot you." I go over this little tree, I got it in my bag, I can go, I walk around. I saw a piece of paper, open it up, not the newspaper, that's a plain piece of paper, I opened up, it's cheese, it's bread, you know, put it in my pocket. I didn't have the heart to eat it. And I was hungry myself, but I wanted to share it with my brother and father. So I remember this. When I brought it to the camp, we were sharing together, but this time we were in one barrack, and I was with the priest over there too. To make the story, it was going on like this, and I gave to my father and brother. All of a sudden I go with the bag again, and it was a raid. The American airplane was flying to Berlin, they're flying over maybe 2-3 kilometers in the air. You couldn't see an airplane, but you hear it was raining. It was like zzz, zzz. And there was a lot of places where there still was trees, because they didn't clean up all the area, because you went to make, for the airport or some other, they were all group with people, maybe 10 or 20 people, right under the tree. When you walk, you see the rain. You have to drop everything. You have to stay there. You don't have to move. And I was right by the woods over there. I walked in. On the airplanes are going, you can see the sky, because it's tree. You don't see an airplane, it's raining. And one of the men was from here to the refrigerator, a little wider, felt uncomfortable. I had my little bucket also, I sit down, and I had the bag with the clothes. I sit down on this with my behind. It was water, it's raining, he says. Nothing. It's up when people were sitting in the mud. When one of the men felt uncomfortable. Neither was Jewish, there's a few non-Jews too. But this was a Jewish group. He was calling over from one hand to the other hand. And there's a good German, the soldier, was gave me the putterboard. He took out the pistol and he spun, shoot him. And the head, the head disappeared. It was exploding. And everybody was sprayed in blood. And I saw, this is the guy who gave me the putterboard. I really got scared to death. And all of a sudden, a second, the race is over. I will go back to the work. It was fag a little bit, it was felt daytime, and I got killed and I didn't see him. I came back to the barracks, I told my father, I said, my father was smiling for me. Of course he said, you didn't see nothing, you don't know nothing, and you're supposed to go back to the putterboard, A couple of days later, I know when it's duty. I was afraid to go, I was with my bag. When I go over there, when I look to see from far away, I see the piece of paper there, I had a paper. I put my hand out. All of a sudden, a man stepped on my hand, a boot. And he said to me, bist du nur böse? If I met on him. I said, warum soll ich denn böse sein?
Using his own English.
Why should I be mad on you? I said, why should I be mad on you? He said, this swine, he was walking around from one end to the other. The airplanes could put a bomb on us. He could kill us all. He said, he saved my life. Not only me, he saved the whole group. He's fascination. When he shot with a pistol, you could hear it for miles. But this was okay. But to kill one person, it was a good thing, The man was walking, he shouldn't walk. Just he still killed him. I said, yes, I found mad on him. I said, remember, you undo it, you do what you have to do. But I say, you're wrong. And it was a couple of times I see they put about, then all of a sudden, they didn't keep it along the shoulder, they put him at the front. Then I came out one time to look for the putterboard. I didn't see him, he didn't see me, and there's no putterboard anymore. But I tell you what a good German is. Then when I was liberated, and in Germany, when I came after the war, when we got to be in the camp, to go there, we were on the way back to go to this place to work. We were going out from this called from the castle to the ghetto, from the ghetto, the trains. But we have to walk, some of them have to walk, they had a death mass to go in Germany. We were walking in Germany. From one place, because the camp where was camp number 1, they were going to liquidate it. They were going to take us to the mountains, to Garmis. Now going with the highways. When the military was going, then they have to move the people away. They were on the right side, the left side, a couple thousand people. People were dying on the street. And I did a lot of things, I fixed this, I made monuments after the war. I was a little involved. I didn't forget what's happened. But I was going there, the time we were going there, we had to stop on the corner, and they put us on the side. There was a little plate of gas that was written on, a little restaurant. Didn't know, and they were inside. But outside was maybe around 2,000 people, maybe more. And the dogs was running with us, the Bluetooths. When you go out from the line, they bite you, they kill you. When we're going there, we have to stop there. When we stop there, a woman...
This is from this camp, now you're doing, this is on the death march
Yeah,
after the camp?
That's in the camp, we were in the camp in Germany.
Right.
That's what happened with the soldiers and all this. Then they took us out from there and they was taking us to kill us maybe or something, to take us to the mountains. They were going to say...
And when was that? What year
This
was
was
44?
40, I was liberated in 1945. It was in the beginning.
Oh, this is already then?
Yeah, this was later. This was still a long time before we were liberated.
Oh, okay.
It was in April. In April was with the death mass. But I saw the woman came out with cables of hot milk, gave it to sort of a big woman, And she walked out and said, stay with me. I remember this. When I was liberated, then I was going to follow with the death mass, and then the Americans came out to liberate us. I saw the first time about tankers, what's time a black person. He saw candies and all this. People start hitting it.
But can we get back, just because we're gonna do that next time, the liberation, can we get back to where we were here? Because I'm getting confused of the jump of time.
Okay.
But I want you to tell me what you want to tell me. I just want to know when it happened.
Oh, this was before the war was end. Before the end of the war.
So when we were with the story with the tall blonde man, when was that about? And you were doing the call and everybody's...
Oh, this was in the 1944.
Okay, so that was like in 1944, so you were probably about wait, when were you born again?
1928.
So you were already 16 then, okay.
Yeah, I looked older, this I wouldn't be other. My brother looked older. My brother...
So what was the story you were just telling me? I don't think I understood it.
The story what I'm telling you is when we're going with the death mass.
So now you're talking about 45?
This was in 44.
So this is for right soon after this whole thing with the
I
tall
was
blonde
liberated in
man?
1945 in May.
Okay.
Still
So this is like winter,
It was winter,
end
so
of 44?
yeah, end of 44 was kind of something in this area because I was liberated in May. The 2nd of May, it was in April, but in the mountains over there, like winter time, it's snowing,
Okay.
it's all this.
So this is still in, how do you say it again?
Germany.
Lager?
No, this is on the death march. We were in Germany, marching to Garmisch, to the mountains, to the Alps.
Okay, so it's after you're done telling me this, then let's go back to the tall blonde man and what happened between then and the
Oh,
death.
yeah, this one he's out of this picture, and then they liquidated this place. He took us from the
Okay.
camp, we took us to put us back to the camp, then we got to the death mass.
So you went back to the ghetto, you said?
They took us from over there to the ghetto,
Which ghetto?
the Lithuanian ghetto.
Oh, you went all the way back to Kovno?
No, because it was not too far away, but they were 15 kilometers. And from there they made lines, and sometimes taking the trains, they didn't make it. And I was choosing with my father and brother to go in from Dachau. We were back in Dachau, in the camp.
So can I go back a little bit? I'm sorry, I'm very
That's
confused.
okay, you're doing fine.
So, and I'm sorry, I feel bad
No, I'm
asking you,
glad.
but I don't know where we are, so I'm getting confused. Okay, so I just want to go back to the part where you're with the tall man, the Americans are bombing,
He disappeared.
he saves your life, he disappears, and then that's around...
He didn't save really my life, he said he saved my life.
Well, right,
That's it,
but
it was nice to me, he gave it to eat.
So this is like December 1944 with him?
Right, 1944, yes. was
Like
still
late in the year?
late, before we had to liquidate this place.
Okay, so when did that place, what's it called again?
Lagerhains,
Lagerines?
camp number 1.
Camp number 1. And when did that get liquidated?
Then they were liquidated. Some of them, my cousin remained in this camp. Some were liquidated.
Oh.
Safe.
When did you and your father and brother leave? Around
We
when?
lived this was in April, beginning in April.
So April 1945.
45.
Okay. And you've only been 15 kilometers away from the Kovno ghetto this whole time?
This was not in Köln. This
No,
is
I know.
Germany.
It was a different ghetto.
That's a different place. This is Germany.
No, that I understood. But then you just said you went to the ghetto, and I said, which ghetto?
No, we had to go. We had to go back to the ghetto.
So you did go back to Kovno, Lithuania.
We went back to the ghetto from the castle.
Which
From there.
Right, so it was in the Kovno area.
Yeah, still in the Köln.
And that's only 15 kilometers from
Yeah,
Lagers
that's
to
not too
Germany?
far away, yeah.
Oh.
No, this is not Germany, this is still Lithuania, but we went from there back to the ghetto, they put us in line, and we start marching, going back to Germany by foot.
But this is like the border of Germany, very
Right,
close to
very
Germany
close
and
to Germany.
Lithuania.
Right.
Okay, I didn't realize they were so close, so you really were close to
We
Lithuania.
were
the whole
going
time.
back to the death mass, we were going kilometers, miles, I lost my shoes, I'm barefoot. Anyway, there is a woman, like I said, you have to go with this, you have to go off the streets to clean for the army. The Germans were going back and forth. There's still the war going on. Then I remember the woman came out and gave milk to the soldiers. Now I remember this and it stayed with me. And I was liberated. I was liberated in 1945, May the 2nd.
From Kovno? Or
From Germany.
So you went Kovno,
Köln is out.
so Kovno, then Germany, then back to Kovno.
No, not back to Köln.
Oh, that's what I thought you said. So where did you go when you
I
left
went
the
back
camp? When you
when
left
we were liberated. They
Right.
took us in the ADP camp.
No, but I'm talking about in April 1945. You said you, your father, and brother left Lagers.
Like this was after the death mass. We were liberated. We were in Germany.
But where were you in the month between Lagerings in April and the
going
death
with the
march
death
in May?
march. We're going
So you're heading more into Germany.
deep to the mountains to kill us.
Okay, now I understand. All right.
Now, I remember the woman was giving milks because there was thousands of people going in, Jewish and non-Jewish, was mixed in other camps. And I remember she gave milks as we was outside. And I remember this when I was liberated. The liberation is a different story. I can tell you another time. My brother was very sick, knocked about a kidney and all this. But when I was liberated, I was always handy, and I was in a big camp called Fehrenwald. And the Fehrenwald came a doctor from the United States with his wife, with a little boy. And if I were walking, there was a hospital in the big camp where I was. And the doctor, I was driving a car there, I started learning how to drive, I made myself older, and I was driving an ambulance.
Right,
And the doctor told me he can drive a car. American doctor can drive a car. There was both of them doctors. The wife didn't drive a car, maybe they want to drive in Germany. But a convertible. Then when I met my wife later on, I was driving the car.
And this is before liberation. We're still talking about before liberation, right?
That's to say I'm already liberated.
Oh, we were going to do this all next time, but do you
Alright.
want to talk about it now?
I feel the mind.
Yeah, that's fine. I still want to hear about the end of the war, though. So
I
that's why
can tell you in the end of the
Okay.
war, in the wedding, when I got married, this is...
Right, but I still want to hear about that April to May, like the whole death march and
Okay.
what that was
Okay,
like.
this is...
But tell me what you want to tell me first.
Okay, now I was liberated, and first I saw a black man in a tank, and I didn't know I saw a white star. My brother was very sick, he knocked him out a kidney. I was come to the studio, beat him up over there, almost died. He's not alive anyway, but he died in here. I had a lot of problems. But to make the story, I remember when I was giving the milk to the soldiers. After the war, I was walking to the P camp in Fehrenwald, and the doctor got a car, a German car, convertible, and he has to drive me. And it sort of like adopt me. In the was at the P camp, but the Americans took it over, and then the Germans took it over. And I met Eisenhower, I've picked this. To make the story, here I'm going back. The doctor said to me, Israel, take 2 friends, take 2 girls, and go for a house trip, for a ride. He offered me the car, you know. And this time I have an American license, and you couldn't get gas easy. When I took gas, he gave me the coupons to go to the PX to gas. I took 2 friends, very intelligent boys from Ungarn. One is Meyer, and one is Lotzi. Meyer was hiding on the headache in Ungarn. He catch them and sent them to the Lagerreis. He was doing Lagerreis. When he saw his father and mother and sister, they made a grave in Ungarn and put maybe 20 or 30 people alive, and they buried them over there with a tank, with a Panzerwagen, alive. When he watched it, he was full with hate. I know my father is alive. My brother was with them in the West. When I found out my mother is alive, she went back to Lithuania. Then I was not full with hate like he was. When here, I take this car, when I drive with the 2 boys, and I know the story, he told me the story. When I know he had no choice, his parents got killed, his sister. And I saw this little restaurant, I said, wait a second. I remember I was in the back, you know, when the woman was giving milk to the so let's stop it, they say, written down, Gastet, a little restaurant. I said, let's go in there, I drive the car, I parked, it was by the highway. I drive over, park the car, and it was automatic, you know, a nice German car. And I go in and I saw the woman, I remember, I didn't want to do, and I was never inside, there are small steps to go up, upstairs, and downstairs, all the Bayern, you know, like the old houses. And I go down in the house, and I'm sitting down, and there's a little car, and I say, you don't have for the beer or something, and I spoke German, you know, I speak a limonade and for the girls, the doctor gave me money, I always had money because I was working to get gas and all this, I always had in bags. They were nice to me, they sort of like adopted me. And I was the big stars, I was driving the car, and all of a sudden, I go in and see what it's I go in, and I recognized her, and I said, gnädige Frau, nice lady, can you remember, I remember you were outside, you gave milk to the soldiers. Maybe this is something good. Hello? Yeah? When I said to the woman, Ich möchte gerne...
Wait, I want to make sure we're on. Mara's gonna make sure we're on. We're on.
Anyway, I said to the woman, I was saying in English, I remember I saw you were giving milk to the soldiers and the dogs, you know. She said to me, was sprechen Sie denn? What are you talking about it? And this was right after the war, but not even a year, you know. There was and at this time I started working right away, made myself full time, get licensed, and I worked for a doctor, and I drove an ambulance, and I learned my trade, of course. Then she said, was liegen Sie, I'm a liar. Well, my friend is bitter, you know. And he said, my friend is not a liar. I can be honest and say this is not, it's not long ago. And I didn't know, it was a big place in the back. And I didn't know what, it was a base from the American soldiers in the back. They took it over, we were laying there to be killed. Because there's other things before I was liberated. This was before I was liberated. I was there. And she said to me, I'm a liar. My friend said, he said, oh, came an interpreter at German, spoke English, anything I say. And there's 3 soldiers go, American soldiers walking in there. And I tried to explain what's happened because he called in somebody. And one of these soldiers was really a Polak or something. He took the rifle, gave me a spank. I talked too much, you know, but I won't tell the story. But my friend, what's happened is, when I couldn't hardly breathe. When I tried to explain, all of a sudden, he was quiet. When he says, she said, Hans, come mal runter. Hans, come down. A big gorilla came down. I thought Frankenstein is not so big. He was that's the ceiling. He was going down like this. When he came to the last step, you know, when he said to me and to the 2 girls, the cars outside, raus mit euch, you verfluchte Juden. You go out, you dirty Jews. You know? When he said so, my friend is bitter. He lost his father and mother and his sister, and saying, bad alive. He ran over to this table over there, took the bottle, he cracked it, and he ran against this big gorilla. He was a nice looking boy, this Meyer. He was also 6 foot, blonde, nice. In Hungary, he was not so long in the camps. He was an intelligent fellow. He spoke a little bit English. He was a little bit older for me. I think maybe a year or 2. Minder later in this time. He had more schools because he was older. Then he ran against this German. The German took that towel, you know, and tried to get out the bottle from him. And all of a sudden, he was going there. All of a sudden, the door opened up, and the soldiers were not there. They walked out outside. 2 soldiers going in, one with a helmet, you know, both of them helmet, one with a cross. One with 2 stripes, and this one with 2 stripes was a powerful man. Everybody saluted him. Even every soldier saluted him. I know who he was. He walked over and he said, why sitting on the floor? I said, I speak a little bit German. I said, the soldiers made it sick and done. I told him I was bank from the soldiers. I said, all the soldiers are everything should go out. When he started talking to me, was denn passiert? I said, you Amcho, because
What's that word?
in Amcho is in Hebrew, you're one of ours.
Oh,
Because I said, one with a cross, that was it. He said, yeah.
He was an American.
American
soldier.
American rabbi.
American rabbi who was also a
the
soldier.
chaplain. When he started talking to me, I broke in German. I said, you read Yiddish? I speak fluent Yiddish. He said, yeah, I'm American Yiddish, you know, Jewish. I started telling the story. And my friend was there, you know, and the woman was there in his house. And one of the lots, he didn't know what happened to them. Then, when the Germans stand in the side like this, and observe the whole thing, the 2 chaplains came in. When I start telling the story, and I swear to you, a soldier should cry. I told to the Jewish chaplain, I said to him, in Jewish, I said to him, he saw his parents buried alive, and his sister is bitter. When he heard the woman, I'm coming in, I said, if she remembered we were outside, she said, I'm a liar. I'm not a liar. She was there. When one of the Jewish men speaks a broken German, said, warum sagen Sie nicht die Wahrheit? I was doing like I just speak German. She said, ich habe Angst gehabt. She was afraid for me. He said, no. And when I told the story to the chaplain, and to both of them, And the Jewish chaplain translated it in English to the other one. Both of them took her in because they start crying. They really cried. And I said, our souls are crying. You know, I didn't believe it. It was such a terrible, see, admirable. When all of a sudden, one of the friend, the other one, the Lotzi, the younger one, but he don't know what's happened to his parents. He said, this man is a Nazi, the German, they were standing there on the side. And the chaplain didn't wait too long. He opened up the door, and he said, he something with the hand, there's coming maybe 5 or 6 soldiers from the MP, you know, with the black bands. From the military, was the whole base over there in the back. It was big. The tents, they built up, they came in, and my friend said, he's a Nazi. He said, the chaplain said, second, take off the shirt, you got SS.